Hey guys, I'm here today with what I promised you. It is my version of the Lime Crime Venus palette. I made my own little dupe palette of the shades in the Lime Crime Venus palette. I don't have that. I've never actually seen it, so I can't say it's 100% a dupe, but I've gone by a million swatches I've looked up online and people doing like little dupes, and I made my own version. It is not 100% a palette that anybody else has done because I went off a few different recommendations of things I already had, and I did have to pick up 3 more. If you have watched my low buy haul, then you know how I justified it. And I thought I would just go through the shadows with you today and tell you what I have picked up. And some of you may have a lot of these, or you may be able to get some of them. If you have the Venus palette and this is not anything like it, then let me just keep on thinking it is so I can feel better about it. My little disclaimer here is Lime Crime. I just don't feel like I can support them anymore with that whole ordeal. It wasn't that they got hacked, it's how they handled it. I was not hacked, so I don't really know, but based on everything I've heard, I don't feel comfortable purchasing from them or supporting them. I don't want to purchase the palette and sell it to you guys. I mean, you know what I mean? Recommend it if they're not a good company. So I feel much better about the brands in this palette. So let's get started. First off, let me see. I have gone through and looked at a ton. I don't even know if this is the exact order that they're in the palette, but this is how I have them. So first off, the shade Aura. Now I will say this one is different. In the Venus palette, it looks to be a very shimmery white shadow. That is not something I really go for, so I decided to make this my own in that sense. I like that bone color for a brow bone, so I used MAC Blanc Type. Any bone color shadow would do. You could put a shimmery shade in if you wanted to, but I know if I put a shimmery shade in, it's not a color I use a lot on the inner corner. I don't use that on my brow bone, so I wanted it to be specific for me. So that is the only exclusion. Okay, then the shade Venus, I decided to use MAC Cranberry, which is right there. It may be a little more purpley, I don't know, but I did see a few swatch comparisons and people seem to think it was pretty good. It has a lot of really red iridescent, pink iridescent duochrome that I don't think is picking up on camera, but you know, if you're familiar with MAC Cranberry, then you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going off of a picture here so I can get the Venus palette names right because I don't know them. Okay, then next up is Shell. And I picked up Makeup Geek Cinderella for this. And this is a really lovely color. It's kind of like MAC Jest, I think. I don't have Jest, so I don't know. A little similar to All That Glitters. If you already had that, you might get away with it. It is a very shimmery, kind of rose gold, pinky, champagne, a little more warm. It's a really lovely color. I haven't even actually been able to play with this as a Venus palette yet. I was waiting until this video, but I cannot wait to do it. Okay, next up is Icon. Now, a lot of people recommended Makeup Geek Mocha for that. This is not a color I really use a lot, a matte dark brown. I just used MAC Espresso. I didn't feel like I needed to pick up Mocha because it's not a color I'm going to use a ton, but based off the swatches, I think it is pretty similar and it will serve the same purpose. And if you are familiar with me and my makeup style, it would be something that I just kind of stamped in the outer V. I wouldn't use it as like a whole crease color. I wouldn't swipe this dark of a color all through my crease. I would just stamp it on the outer corner, maybe run a tad bit under my lower lash line or use it as an eyeliner. Okay, next up is the shade Muse. And this is the really matte color burgundy, matte color, the matte burgundy color eyeshadow in the palette. And I picked up Makeup Geek Bitten for this purpose. This is a really popular color and people really love Bitten. So I'm anxious to play with it. And that's that right there. I'm not a super big matte eyeshadow lover. Like Cranberry is way more my speed than the Bitten, but I think it is really lovely. And I love these colors, especially if you have, like I have green eyes, or if you have blue eyes. I mean, if you have any color eyes, even brown, these are going to be great, especially like good summery colors. I love a warm eyeshadow. Next is Rebirth, and a lot of people suggested Makeup Geek Mango Tango. This is the third one that I picked up for the palette. And it is just kind of a, I would call it like papaya or mango. I cannot wait to wear this. It has a little bit of sheen, not too much, but not straight up matte. So I cannot wait to play with that. The next shade is Divine, and a lot of people suggested Makeup Geek Barcelona Beach, and I think Makeup Geek Cupcake maybe? I think that's the one. I had Barcelona Beach, and this is kind of a cool tone, blending out crease color. Which honestly, I'm kind of confused why the Venus palette didn't do something that was similar to Creme Brulee from Makeup Geek, MAC Soft Brown, but that's Barcelona Beach. It is a really pretty color. And then last but not least is the shade Creation, and I found similarities between Makeup Geek Cocoa Bear in it, which I already had. And it is this really pretty, super warm tone, reddish brown. And this is a really pretty color, especially if you have blue eyes or brown eyes. That is Makeup Geek Cocoa Bear. And then for the sake of making it my own palette, I had one little spot left. Since Barcelona Beach was a little cool, I decided to throw in my MAC Soft Brown eyeshadow pan, which I'm sure we all are familiar with, but I will just throw a little swatch in, which you can make your own palette, and you could not use this and you could just throw in your bronzer. But there is MAC Soft Brown, which is just kind of like a peachy brown, warm color to blend out your crease, add a little bit of warmth to your look. Not that these are not already warm, but I hope this gives y'all some inspiration to maybe make your own Venus palette. I'm sure if you're a makeup lover or you've been into makeup a while, you probably have quite a few of these shades or something pretty similar. Google swatches of each of the colors if you're a little unsure, and there are plenty of pictures out there because so many people are disenchanted with lime crime. I'll take out the soft brown and give you a close-up of the palette if you would like to see a better view. MAC Cranberry, Makeup Geek Cinderella, MAC Blanc Type, which you could use MAC Nylon, Floof, anything like that. Makeup Geek Cocoa Bear, MAC Espresso, Makeup Geek Mango Tango, Makeup Geek Barcelona Beach, and Makeup Geek Bitten. And that is what they look like on the arm. So I'm super excited to use these. Let me know if you have any better dupes, and let me know if this inspires you to make your own little Venus palette, because I really wanted that palette so bad. But now that I have this all put together, I think I'm going to just leave it in this little Z palette. I'm satisfied, and I'm actually reusing things in my collection that hadn't been used, and I have like a new palette. So, and if you would ever like me to use this for a 1 month, 1 palette, let me know down below. I'd be willing to try it, a homemade Venus palette. So that is all for this. I will see you guys later. Bye.